There's Bernard from Barcelona. He actually designed this banner that you see, the Starcraft Day 9 netcast. Like, he created the Day 9 brand, right? This guy's a friggin' badass. And actually, I'm going to show you this photo right now. This is a photo that I don't have open. All right, I'm going to navigate to my computer so you can show this. This is the shirt that he designed that if any of you caught the event, you saw. But, I mean, it's just such a kick-ass t-shirt. Here it is. Here's me and JP at the event. Look at those shirts that says reported for Day 9 Countdown Party. And this little thing here says this subject, pointing to me. Now, one thing to note, just right now, JP and I actually look like the same person. I mean, even look at our forearm. Look at this lump on the wrist. We're the same guy. Like, seriously, someone needs to Photoshop, like, some blend of our faces and be like, Sean, Day 9 Plod, JP, McDaniel, you know, and just like co-casters. So if any of you would just get on that, that'd be great. But so, oh, and of course, Day 9 Fan. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but a guy named Gabe created day9fan.com. E-famous, right? Loser. E-famous, right? I'm like feeling great. But Gabe, like, he was volunteering to do all sorts of stuff. Like, anytime I was in a pinch with anything, I was like, Gabe, is there any chance you can make these 15 art assets in these exact dimensions in the next 6 hours? And he's like, yeah, no problem. I'll send it to you right away. Like, every single graphic you saw at the countdown party was him. It was all him. So we're feeling pretty good. We're getting some stuff. And now I want you to know that finally we're starting to bleed into July. Harvey Mudd gives us this auditorium. We've contacted the banner guys. Huge stress off our shoulders there. Feeling good. All right, cool. We're back on track. But then the content starts coming in from people. On the July 10th deadline, we had a grand total of 31 minutes. That was it, 31 minutes of content. We got 2 videos. One was like 11 minutes. One was 20 minutes. Yes, I can do math. Yeah, like, that was it. That's all we got. And I contact people. It's like, hey, did you get the content in by any chance? They're like, yeah, totally. It'll be coming, like, right along. And it just slowly starts to trickle in. And the thing is that it was not exactly like 15 sites being really lazy. It's like that the beta went live, and like one day later I was like, all right, I need your content, right? Like, beta phase 2 I was like, come on, I want that StarCraft content right away. So they were doing like everything they could trying to scramble. But you know how there's a lot of sites? Remember how I said that of like 25 sites and community members and just people, all of them asked for an hour? People started to submit like 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Now, of course, there were, like, great 15-minute segments. I'd watch that, and I was like, sweet. It was actually amazing, the work that people put out. But, obviously, we weren't going to fill 24 hours, so we immediately backed it off to 12 hours. And also, at this point, we're kind of thinking, what was wrong with us in the first place? Why? We're barely going to be able to fill 12 hours. Barely, maybe. And at the start, we were talking about, like, yes, hello, this is Day 9 live from Seoul, Korea. Hello, this is Nicholas Plot live in Seoul. Like, we had any clue what we were friggin' doing then. So that starts coming in, and that tournament, that King of the Beta tournament, was an adventure. So it looks good on paper, right? It looks good, and then after the fact, it looks good because, there were some really phenomenal games and some ridiculously high-level play. And of course, if you want to see any of those videos, day9tv.blip.tv. Bam! All of everything's up right now. So it looked good. Oh my God, we have 3 Europeans, 3 people in Korea, 2 people on the American servers. Oh, what a blending of different styles and cultures. But what actually happened is that no one could really get a hold of each other, and I was actually out of town right when the beta went live. I literally left Los Angeles on July 7th, and when my plane landed, it's like, StarCraft 2 beta's up! And, you know, a lot of people like to talk like, I must have this in. Like, I'm this guy who has knowledge. Oh, Day 9, he does a cast. He probably knew when the beta was going up and down this whole time. I don't know jack, right? I'm just, again, I'm a dumb guy who just does stupid things like organize a 12-hour countdown party without having any clue of what he's doing. So when the beta went live and I landed, I was just like, ah! So actually Duran, a.k.a. Zeras, was like, can you organize this tournament? So all of everyone played. But there was a huge issue with having Tester and Into the Rainbow play their games because, again, they're professional gamers. So they have all their tournaments that are going on with Gom TV. They have, like, OGS versus Prime Clan League matches, like, every 2 days. So they're so friggin' busy. So finally all the games get played, and I know the results, and I'm like, all right, you know, Into the Rainbow Tester, all the other guys are play your games, and I knew who the semifinalists were. Semifinalists play. Found out who the finalists were. I was like, finalists play. And then what happens is somehow 3 players reformatted their computers. Like, okay, so I was missing Into the Rainbow versus White Raw. Okay, get this. This is so stressful. First of all, I didn't hear from the manager of the OGS Pro team for like 3 days because they were doing all these tournaments. So when he finally comes back, I was like, I need Into the Rainbow versus White Raw. I can't get a hold of White Raw. I need Into the Rainbow's thing. He's like, well, Into the Rainbow's computer got a virus. He had to reformat. He has one replay from that series, though. I'm like, okay, which game is it? Like, it's the first game. And then finally White Raw gets on. He's like, I threw my computer into a swimming pool or something ridiculous. I'm like, oh my god. Like, what? So he had to reformat. So he was like, I only have the first game replay. And I was like, right? So he sends it to me, and he was wrong. It was the second game. So, oh my god, suddenly I have a complete series. Good, great. And I let all the players know, if I don't have your replays, I have to have you replay the game. I'll let you do something like play 4 games so that you can, get the same result as was before, but I have to have all the games. Because Razer's sponsoring this. I love Razer. I've used Razer mice forever, right? I want to have a good relationship with them. I don't want to be like, you sponsored it, but I don't know where the games are, so, I can't do that. So, get this. Little One goes out of town, and I don't have his games against Tester. So, I have to contact the Little One's brother, a.k.a. the Big One. Isn't that great? They're the Big One and the Little One. The Little One sounds kind of cute. The Big One sounds like sort of pseudo-sexual, right? The Big One. But that's okay, because he is also just as nice as Dario is. So, get this. The Big One searches through 200 or 300 of the Little One's replays with me, and we managed to miraculously find their games, because Tester and the Little One had to play their games on multiple servers, because like the Europe server crashed for them, so they moved to the American servers, which is laggy, so they moved to the Asia servers. So there's like no correlation between them. They're all in different folders. So, done. Got that second series. And, it's this point in time where, like, I literally am spending, like, 2 hours a day trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this tournament. I'm still also trying to, like, find other people, the community, like, can you, contribute community content, please? We really want to bring everyone in. And it's kind of funny because at this point in time, I think it was, like, maybe 15 or so parties were involved, maybe 10 to 15, and then a lot of other people caught wind of it and were like, hey, is there any chance we can be involved? And I was like, of course, totally, just submit your content, because I don't want to like cut anyone out. I want to be like, well, sorry, you missed the deadline. It's a community event with half the community. It's like retarded, right? I'm more than happy if they want to make more content. That's less work for me. So they're throwing in more content. I'm like trying to review it. I'm trying to get these replays up, and this is where I had a deepened respect for Idra as a human being, because I've met Idra in real life, and he's a perfectly pleasant guy in real life. He's a really good gamer. It's fun to discuss strategy with him because, he, like, plays a lot, so he gets it. Obviously, there's the Idra rage where he chews people out in games, and I'm not the biggest fan of chewing people out in games, but even so, I only kind of knew him, and I hadn't interacted with him that much. Let me tell you something, this tournament, Idra, like, every day, it was like, hey, what's up? Here's the results of my game. Even series he lost, he'd be like, I lost this game, here's all the replays, they were well labeled, they were indexed, and he's like, alright, when can these people play? Alright, I'll be available at this time. Alright, cool, I'm available at this time, is there any update? Great, I'm gonna practice, I'll be back at 1:30. It was really, really easy to, like, have him be there, so big props to Idra for helping. Just have to work on paying him. Anyways, so finally all that stuff's starting to get resolved. It's like, oh my gosh, and we're in the final week, we're in the home stretch. We haven't secured TVs, right? We have no idea how to get TVs to the venue. None, like zip. We've just gotten the banners in, so we're feeling pretty good, so we're thinking, hey, all we gotta do is get these TVs, and we got to get a TriCaster. A TriCaster is this box that you literally plug in, and it does everything for web streaming. It does the video, you can do all the transitions, all the cool stuff that you saw at the launch party with like picture-in-a-picture and the overlay, all done through the TriCaster. It also was going up to Ustream at this point in time. It was really, really solid, awesome piece of equipment. And we kind of went, well, we should probably get a TriCaster operator. And we didn't quite know that's actually a huge deal. It's kind of like if me, Eric, and my mother said, let's just put someone into space, in 8 days before the rocket takes off, we should say, we really should find someone to design a rocket. You know, it's like, come on, it's like the first thing you should have done, right? If you want to have an internet broadcast of a huge event, you better find people who know how to do internet friggin' broadcasts and have the hardware. So, of course, we called Dr. Wheat, and we were like, hey, Wheat, do you know anyone? So Wheat puts us in touch with 2 gentlemen named Rance and Hogan, who seem like perfectly fine, nice individuals. Rance and Hogan are like, yeah, you know what, I think we can do it. I think it's possible to you know, come out for this. And, you know, because they're like, yeah, you know, we're freelancers, so we kind of have odd schedules. But since it's on a Monday, I think we might be able to swing it. And we're like, yeah, there's a chance you can come in on Sunday to do a dry run. Look at how organized we are. Oh, we have organization. Yes, please come in on the Sunday. So we get them in. It's like Monday. This is the Monday before the event. 1 week to go. 1 week to go. I've got to start casting the King of the Beta tournament. Now, I want to just say, when I casted days 1 and 2 of the King of the Beta tournament, I did not have the replays for days 4 and 5 and 6, right? I still was missing games. Yeah, that's right. Cutting it close. Close. Seriously, by the way, I just want to state for the record, for any of you who are ever like, oh god, these tournament organizers are dumb, they don't know what they're doing, tournament organization is so hard. Holy god, it takes forever. But it's amazing that in these final hours, in these final, you know, week left, this guy named Tom contacts us. And Tom says, hey, I want to let you know that I do event planning for a living. And if there's anything you need, whether it be banners or TV or just trucks moving stuff, let me know. So we call him and we're like, we need TVs. And get this, he drives to my house in like 20 minutes. And it's just like, hey, all right. He looks at my TV, looks at this other TV and says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to get 4 TVs from Costco. I'm going to buy him. I'm going to bring him to the event. I'm going to return him same day. I do this all the time. He apparently runs like chess tournaments in Los Angeles. He knew everything. He's like, I'm going to get you a truck. I'm going to get you all this stuff. I'm going to bring volunteers to help set everything up. And we were just like, oh my god, all our problems seem solved, right? We had the TriCaster operator, we had the TVs, we had the transport, we had me and DJ Wheat were flying out to host the event, we had almost all the content in. All I had left to do was to cast these King of the Beta games and to just do the event. There was one more little thing that I'll just say right now. It's a little afterthought I had. What was I going to do about the semifinals and finals? Because JP and I wanted to cast them live. I couldn't use some sort of illegal replay launcher to open them up. For any of you who are unfamiliar with this, there are some illegal Chinese replay launchers that are really good at patching. Sometimes, you know, when Blizzard, when the Starcraft 2 thing's like, oh, would you like us to go back to a previous version? It doesn't really work very well. So there's some third-party software that you know, you can use for it. And obviously, I can't use that, right? I don't want to use that because we're throwing this event kind of as a birthday party for Blizzard, and it's kind of douchey to be like, happy birthday, Blizzard, yeah! And then to just use, like, illegal third-party software, right? Because, as it turns out, there is a very funky way. I found this out. There's an extremely weird way that you can rename files and folders in the StarCraft 2 beta. You just rename a folder, and it loads up on, like, a previous patch version. So, oh my god, suddenly I had the ability to load these replays, so this is what I was going to do. I was going to record an HD version of my screen, and I was going to play those at the finals. So it's like an HD version of me moving around, no commentary at all, just me looking around as though I was watching a regular replay, catching the action, and then at the event, JP and I would just sit back with our microphones. This is a microphone, by the way, right here. So JP and I would sit with our microphones, and we just blah, 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 talk about the game. Easy thing. Done. No problem. So I kind of let that rest. I said, I'll do that the night before. Well, no, I said I'll do it on Saturday. But I was like, yeah, but, you know, if I give a little wiggle room on Sunday, won't be a problem. So Wednesday rolls along. And, again, so the 3 people organizing the event is myself, Eric, and Mom. Eric's doing a lot of the tech equipment stuff set up. Mom was handling things, you know, like food, making sure that we actually could feed people there, you know, doing a lot of these logistics, organizing the banners. I was contacting the community sites. You know, I was getting pumped up, I was drinking my Red Bull, getting ready for the event. So my mom calls me,